Hello, travelers. Welcome to our inaugural podcast for Mind Travel Cafe. This is the space where we dive deep into the unconscious, discover new realities, and where we share our metaphysical experiences while hanging out in our own little corner of the universe. My name is Lissa Callahan. I am a professionally trained psychic medium, but more accurately, I'm just a curious being. And if you are like me and you can't get enough of the spiritual realms, metaphysics, and reality changing information, then come along with me. Get ready to join us as we take off on another mind travel adventure. So, you've heard of The Secret, and maybe you have even tried some of the exercises in the law of attraction. But for some reason, unknown to you, you just can't seem to make the idea of abundance and money work for you. Or you've found you have embarrassment or shame, when it comes to money. Well, our guest today is well aware of the blockages and unconscious emotions surrounding money, and they are here today to discuss how money trauma may be at the root of what you're experiencing. And we hope that we can help find a way to have a more harmonious and balanced relationship with money. Let's all welcome Dr. Carmen. Now, Carmen and I know each other very well. She was a teacher in the program that I was in, that I received my psychic and clairvoyant training, and that was with the renowned Dr. Lauren Cielo. But Carmen is not only a teacher in that program, she has her own business called Psychic Awareness Training. She has a website where you can go and book appointments with her, or also various other teachings. And she's been developing this particular program about money trauma. And when she told me about it, I just wanted to interview her. So without further ado, let's go ahead and hand this over to Dr. Carmen, and let's ask her how this all developed.
Thank you so much. I'm so honored. Thank you. Okay, so a little bit about myself. I've always been a spiritual seeker, and as a wounded healer, we always tend to go through the fire so we can teach others, right? So I've had my fair share of traumas. But how this came about is I love to take self-development training and courses, and you named one that we met in. And I've learned so many skills and techniques that can shift these beliefs and our perspectives. And the best of it all is they're very logical and practical. And that's important for me because it has to make sense to me logically, or else, I'm going to discard it as BS. So what I teach is very logical. And when I guide your awareness to certain parts, it starts making sense. And you'll start putting, two and two together. And because people that will be or are attracted to this kind of stuff will have the same, similar issues or challenges. We can learn from each other, and more of these pieces of the puzzle start to fall into place. So I love to guide others the way I was guided into, I would say, self-discovery, self-awareness, because it's very important for us to be aware of things that we're not aware of, so then we can do something about it. And I think that's what this course brings to the table: awareness to life experiences, belief systems that are keeping you stuck, or that you probably can't relate one to the other. So yeah,
Perfect.
I'm really excited
Awesome.
about this program.
I am too. So, Dr. Carmen, just tell us a little bit, what is money trauma and how do we know if we have it?
All right, so money trauma, is an experience that causes some sort of emotional stress. And so for some of us, that experience causes us some trauma. and most of us experience some trauma, some level of money trauma. So if your parents divorced, and they were arguing about money, or and you probably thought it was because of you, or you wanted a bicycle or you couldn't get it, or you wanted to go to soccer lessons, right? Or get the latest gadgets and you didn't get it, or you saw how stressed your parents get after a debt collector call, or even being bullied because you were too poor or too rich. There's so many things that can lead to money trauma. So some of these traumas, like a lot of things, you almost forget, right? And the interesting thing is that if you just start to share your money traumas via a group, or maybe a small group of 4 or 6, without trying, the memories from the past, they will surface, right?
Wow.
Because like I said before, we tend to share. That's why we kind of we're attracted to each other. And I think that they surface, means that the time has come for you to start dealing with it. So in the process of listening to this podcast, you probably remember of a couple experiences. So remembering is important, as well as why it happened, so we can forgive, and we can start that healing process.
Right, right. It's so funny because when you mentioned that, how these experiences start to come to the surface, I actually was telling you right before we started that once I started thinking about this, I'm like, yeah, there's a lot of experiences that are coming up. Like, well, when we talk about generational things, my grandmother, my great grandmother actually was a single parent, had to escape from an abusive situation, and basically traveled across the United States in the Depression, keeping herself and her children alive, working in the fields. Basically, it was the story of the Grapes of Wrath. If anyone has read that in high school, that's her story. And we were very proud of that, of these, this survivorship. And then I started thinking about that. It's like, Emma, is that how I'm always thinking about money? That I always have to survive? It's interesting, some of these things that we even think we're proud of, and look at it later and go, maybe that's not the attitude I should be having. So actually,
Things
that
that
makes me
affect you still till today, right? Some childhood
right.
experience, and it's still affecting today. So yeah.
Did you have experiences, or what made you want to address this issue, or attracted you to this particular topic?
So, I've always been interested in sharing and helping others deal with life issues, and just becoming happier and healthier in life in general. And after taking, like I said before, so many self-development courses, and seeing how I was able to shift and change, I thought these same skills will work on healing our money experiences. And I started to think about that, those money blocks. When I thought back like 5 years ago after COVID, we're joining this new world that the rules are totally different, right? So we think like, we may not be able to get enough money if you were probably a freelancer, or you're in the restaurant, if you own the restaurant, or whatever that is. And then we have the certain belief, if you're in a certain industry, you can't get money. And this is a new belief. So I started to think of all the training I've had. And what spawned this was, I was doing a workshop on inner child trauma.
Okay.
And for some reason, that triggered money traumas. Like, whatever I was healing was related to money. So that's how all this sparked. Very slowly. It was like, well, if I use that tool over there, I wonder if I could use it over here. And it works. And it
Right.
did work. So that's where all that came up from. Just being curious. I wonder if this skill and technique and tool work for this. So being that curious child like scientist, I think got me there.
So that reminds me, so you're talking about taking these other courses and things. Do you need to be a trained clairvoyant to be able to clear the money trauma?
You don't. The straight up answer is no, we don't, but because we're always using our psychic abilities, even if you don't call them that, we're
Right.
always using psychic abilities to be aware of certain energies and experiences. But for this program, you don't have to be a trained clairvoyant. We are going to make it extremely logical, where we're going to go to experiences that are going to trigger certain memories within you. And that's going to be done by other people sharing their experiences. And when you see that you're not alone, we almost have similar experience. And once someone starts talking about their experience, for some reason that starts opening up what you have in your memory bank.
Wow,
So we'll be healing it as a group.
that's awesome. So, well, let me ask you then, how does this work? Like, explain your program a little bit, or your process when you teach this type of thing. What are some of the steps? You know, if someone were to take a course down the road, or would be interested in learning more, what are some of the things that you do to work through this program?
So this program is being offered to students at the moment.
Right.
And what we're going to do is going to be a series of classes over a period of 3 months, because we really want to journal our way. And my style of teaching in this program is going to be more question based to spark your curiosity. Because once you're curious, then it becomes a safe place. Like, you're curious, it's fun, your amusement is high. So then once your amusement is high, you open up your energy field to receive more information. Maybe you'll receive someone else's advice better.
Sure.
So I'm going to do this course, a program in questions. So I'm going to propose a lot of questions for you to ponder on and
Okay.
really get deep into your money traumas. We're going to work a lot with the age before 10 years old, because I think the
Wow.
biggest experiences were there, because we really couldn't relate what was happening. So we started creating our own version. You know, one of my story is I remember my sister getting a Christmas gift, and I didn't get what I asked for, right? So from that experience, the story I created was, I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy of getting what I asked for, right? And then here I am 40 years later, still that's playing
Right.
part. And it's just that experience, but it's still playing at the money level, right? I'm not worthy to ask for that. And the way it plays out too, if I do get something, I always keep it hush hush. Like, don't tell people I own real estate. It becomes, because it's such a shame and guilt, because I grew up in poverty. And if I have, that means they don't have. So it's all this shame and guilt that started to bubble up, because I had, instead of thinking, no, you have, because you did self-development, you went to school, you worked, to get, you deserve that. That's your
Right.
pay, right? Well, no, that's not how I see. So I saw it as, oh my God, if I have, that means I took from someone else. So yeah, this course is going to be more on questioning all that. And because it's a group, when someone else speaks, it really triggers your experiences. And then, of course, we're going to do a lot of healing around that. We're going to do bringing compassion into that situation. So once I brought compassion and love and try to understand why my sister got the gift she did and I didn't, is she has it from her father. So her father got her that.
Sure. Okay.
So then I was able to bring a lot of forgiveness for my mom, because I kind of resented that.
Sure.
that resentment.
Yeah.
So so we'll work it. We'll work it that way, bringing some compassion and love and healing it.
And isn't that like really how we heal everything? Compassion, love, and gratitude. That's perfect.
Yeah, and the first thing is awareness, right? Because if you're not aware, it's hard to do something about something that you're not aware of.
Oh my gosh. And so as you were talking, that totally reminded me of a story too, because people that listen or will be listening to this podcast will probably be interested in different spiritual topics. And I think those of us that are healers or try to go down a spiritual path, I think we do give ourselves a lot of judgment about money, right? It might not make us too spiritual, or our focus is on something other than what it should be on. And it reminded me of this hysterical story we had. my upbringing was pretty Christian. And we had a leader of our church who had some money, but I wouldn't say he was extremely wealthy, but he certainly had money. But you would never know it by their home. It was very, very humble circumstances, but he was my neighbor. And as we would drive by, every once in a while, his garage door would be open and there was a Cadillac in there. But no one had ever seen him drive it. He owned himself. I mean, he owned a Cadillac, but he was too afraid to let other people know that he had money and that he might be judged for just wanting to have the Cadillac. It's funny that the things that we put on us. So I'm excited, especially the journaling process.
And with that, just think what he told his kid. What he told, if he had any kids. Just think of what he said to his kid. And like you just sharing that story reminds me of what I did to my kid. My son came from school and he's like, Mom, so-and-so said his dad makes $1,000 a week. How much do we make? And I told him 150. I don't know why I said that. And he says, a day? And I said, no, a week. Of course, now I think back, my son's a lot older now, and I kind of regret that because I'm like, why on earth would you say such a lie? It's like sometimes we're kind of embarrassed.
Right.
We don't want them to know. So yeah, that story just reminds me of how I've been reacting to my son. But then my son sees that we go on all these vacations and he starts question marks like, wow, that
well, these are cheap. She must really be bargain hunting on these.
Yes, it almost seems like we have the money. I think in our society, especially on United States, I don't know about other countries, it's easier for us to talk about sex than it would be easier to talk about how much money do you have in your bank.
Right. Right. Although that's probably different now than it used to be, but that's so true.
I love to talk about the law of attraction because a lot of people tend to want to know, how does the law of attraction play in this? How some people call it the secret, because I think the secret spoke about the law of attraction, or even the law of abundance, right? When we talk about those things, they're like, okay, so how can I manifest money? When they talk about money, I try to manifest money, but it doesn't work, right? So I think going back to the law of attraction, so the law of attraction states that one thought, our thoughts, they determine our reality, right? So the law of attraction, I always say, it is working for you 100% of the time. It's always at work. So what that means is that the law is responding to your thoughts, whether you're aware of it or not. And for those people that haven't had any luck, using the law of attraction to create their reality, I would ask, can you see the positive in every experience, even when everyone else sees it as bad? Can you forgive easily? Are you grateful for what you already have? Because the law of attraction is always responding. So now let's talk about those thoughts that you're not aware that it's constantly playing in the background. those thoughts are stored in your subconscious mind, and most of us are not aware of what information is stored in the subconscious. So the subconscious stores a lot of memories and thoughts that, they have a lot of charge to them because this was probably an experience that keeps playing over and over and over and over and over since childhood, that we become numb or maybe blind to. So it becomes almost like an automatic way of being or operating on an autopilot. So if you have a thought on autopilot, meaning that it's so automatic, you don't know that is playing out in the background. You just react to it because it has so much energy, so much emotion is charged up. And the feelings with most emotions, and the feelings that have the most emotions and the most charge is the one that's going to affect your manifestation, right? Because it says that you manifest best when it has the most emotions and the most feelings, right? So imagine what that thought is doing in the background. Is manifesting and you're not aware of it at all. Right. So if you have a thought that you have to work hard for things, right? Things don't come easy, then that will be your reality. You work hard to have, every piece of thing you own. So when you're consciously manifesting, right, and you want something to come easy, like maybe say a chunk of money, right, it's not going to happen, because what the hidden belief that's ingrained and it is filled with so much emotions is playing in the background. It's saying otherwise. It's saying, no, we have to work hard for things. So it's not matching. It doesn't match with what you're trying to manifest. And I think that's why so many people get frustrated with the law of attraction, because it's tied in with hidden beliefs in your subconscious. And then if you go into the law of abundance, the law of abundance states that the planet has to offer unlimited supply of resources, wealth, and opportunities available to everyone. But again, if you have a scarcity mindset, it's going to affect the way that you manifest and recognize the wealth of abundance around you. So then we can start recognizing how abundant we are by just feeling gratitude. That's why everyone says, oh, be grateful, gratitude. Gratitude does play a big part because it does change our mood, our, the way we feel. Sure. So that's why people say, oh, be grateful for what you have first. But it's true. It does change your energetic field. So healing chronic trauma is gonna, it'll be bringing awareness to the experiences in our subconscious, or bringing the unconscious to the consciousness, right? What you're not aware. And because a healing is just a shift, just by simply becoming aware, you'll receive a healing. We also do, I know you were asking about the program, we also do certain exercises to get those beliefs. And I believe that, like I said before, when you share in a group, the same interests, we tend to have the same similar experiences. And in sharing, we can see how that brings awareness.
Right. And they recognize it.
Yeah. And so for people who find it challenging to work with the law of attraction to manifest your reality, it's recommended that you do it from the end until now. If you want to manifest, let's say you want to manifest a world trip or a trip around the world.
Okay, I'm with you. Let's do it.
Yeah. So then you could visualize yourself as if you've already completed the trip and you were excited of all the experiences you had, right? And some of my students, I have them record that end.
Okay.
Do a recording about their experiences, and then I would encourage you to write it down, how vivid it was, how your trip, if you could visualize it as vividly as you can, right? And then you start working from there, right? You start thinking about the places that you want to visit. Maybe it has a specific place that you want to go to. You do some research there, and then you might want to research the airline. What airlines are going to get you there? What airports, and where you're going to land, and then maybe
Wow,
even
that'll
what
create a lot of
luggage you
excitement.
need, what type of clothes you need to take, how long is the
Right.
trip gonna be, right? Do you need to take a month or not? How much money would it cost, right, to go around the world? How much spending money would you need, right? How can I get that money, and by when will I have the money? And then you can start to take actions. Maybe the first thing is to research the countries you want to go to.
Mhm.
So when you do it in reverse, it's almost like you have a plan, and then you could take action because it's so clear.
Right.
It's
And it feels like
so
it's
much.
already happened. If you're looking at the
Yes,
end, it feels like it's already happened and you're just
yes.
reviewing your memories.
And then your energy gets so excited.
Right.
And then it's so much easier to be in gratitude for. So yeah, for those people that are having a hard time with the law of attraction, I really recommend that they get crystal clear on the end result and then work it backwards. That usually helps, get people out of that mentality. Oh, it doesn't work.
No, I think that's really helpful because there's a lot of people that do know about those particular practices and ways to manifest. And when it doesn't happen, you're like, well, it seemed to work for so and so. What happened to me? So yeah, it's a really nice tie-in, I think, too. Like you talked about being able to find out what are some of those things that are holding us back. What are those beliefs that are those unconscious beliefs? And I love that you have each student work together because that's one of the things we learned when we were trained in the training that we are when it comes to energetic healing and reading other people is seeing what someone has in their field and how that might match what you have in your field so that you can heal it. So I love the tie-in. So it's great. This is so exciting. All right. Well, let me ask you, now that we've had a little talk about how this kind of relates a little bit to some of the stuff that other people know when it comes to manifesting, do you have an exercise that we could do to just kind of get a little taste?
Yes, 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 yes.
Awesome.
So I want you to think about an experience around money, and we'll work with healing that, bringing some logical understanding, compassion, and forgiveness. Because when you're probably 5 or 6 years old, or even 7, you could never imagine that your parents could be hurt, right?
Right.
Divorces were because of money issues. Now, if you're 30, 40, or 50, um, your younger parents were also hurt and feel bad about not being able to buy you certain things. So if you can find the love there that they couldn't express, you can feel it now. So okay, let's just do it. So we're going to do a quick exercise together. So if you can close your eyes and just remember a certain time, anytime that your family was not at peace. Could be a little something, or it could be dramatic thing that your father was just about to move out, or mother, or who is also having some issues with relationships or health issues, whatever that is. Just go back to that time when you feel that it's not pretty safe. Imagine what's happening in your family, like who's hurt, or who's fighting with who, and then you feel like you're so small. And then you feel squeezed, or maybe like you're in shock. What's happening there? And then imagine and just make sense of what's really happening. Maybe you said something wrong, or your parents were upset, or your brother's upset, or someone's crying. Why? Because somebody was hurt. Maybe you're one of them, and some of them didn't express the hurt, the feelings, hurt feelings appropriately. So they're swallowing it. Can you see he or she swallowed it? And also, can you see somebody went numb and couldn't feel at all? Could be your father, be your mother, and you in the picture. You wanted your mom to protect you, or your dad to protect you, or your grandfather or grandmother, or your brother or sister. They could have protected you, but they didn't. And so everybody's shocked. So can you see the situation clearly? Everybody is in shock mode. And then you can breathe in and see what's going on. They may be feeling the same feelings of scarcity. There's not enough for the family. If you get the mountain bike, your brother will not get anything. So out of fairness, your parents didn't give you whatever you wanted. So right now, from your adulthood, adult self, you can understand what's going on. At the time, it was so unfair. But now you understand why it happened or why it didn't happen. So you can feel and understand what's going on. And then without blaming or judgment, everybody, without criticizing, what's happening. Just look at the situation without any judgment. Can you accept what is? And then can you understand what it is? And if you can you forgive them for doing what they're doing? No, they could have done it better, a better job, right? But they didn't. Maybe they're emotionally too full, too much, and they were so afraid. They were also in shock. Whatever the reason is, they couldn't do it. So can you forgive the fact that they couldn't fulfill what they promised or what they wanted? But they didn't. And at the same time, can you feel that? Disappointment, despair, frustration, anger, sadness? And can you heal older negative energy in the room? We're going to invite a gold and pink energy into the room, and that is going to melt all the dark negative feelings in the room and heal the heart of everybody in the room with this beautiful healing energy. And then by breathing deep, you're going to let go of all the tension, fear, anxiety, any despair out of your system. And then one more time, go ahead and breathe in and out. Maybe a few more times just to make sure that you let it all go. And as you breathe out anxiety and tension, fear, frustration, despair, you're going to breathe in hope, healing energy, and loving energy. And as you see and as you breathe, the whole family is starting to smile. And a new picture. They're more peaceful. They may not be perfectly happy, but at least they are a little happier than before. So you can invite all of them into your heart. Can you have everybody? Or your parents? Could be younger than who you are now. They're just in their 20s and 30s. They just didn't know. So can you invite them? Can you bring them all into your heart? Your brothers and sisters, could be your grandparents, maybe your neighbors, or everyone in your heart, and melt them in your heart. And would you feel more love and peace in your heart? You can do this as many times as you want when something occurs or bothers you. The more you do, the more peace you'll find. So breathing one more time and slowly come back to the room. You can open up your eyes.
That was just beautiful. Thank you so much. I loved everything about that. I mean, the imagery, but also the piece at the end. It's just wonderful. I really feel like this whole program is inspired, Carmen, and I'm just so excited that you were able to put this together. I know right now what you'll be teaching is for advanced students, but perhaps down the road, there'll be an opportunity for people to learn more.
That's the goal. The goal is to bring it out to the public pretty soon, to bring it to the public where everyone can enjoy. I'm gonna focus my attention toward women because that's just what I'm guided to do.
Sure.
For money trauma, when I open it to the public. But of course, if men want to sign in, I'm not going to deny them. But my main focus is going to be women.
I think that's beautiful. I love that you're offering that. Let me just tell you, Carmen is an amazing clairvoyant. And not only does she do readings, but she does these beautiful lessons and workshops. I know this is one that she's developing now, but there are many that she offers through her website and will sometimes announce through social media. So if you could, Carmen, tell us a little bit about how people can find you so that they're interested in more information or even just for a reading, how would they locate you?
All right, so my main website is psychicawareness.training.com. And that has basically all the information. Now, if you want to follow me on Facebook for the Heal Money Traumas, I'm on Facebook and the handle is Heal Money Traumas with an S at the end. And I will post motivational information. I will post affirmations to say as well. I will post questions that you can ask yourself that can also, bring up some of these memories so you can heal them. You could do that meditation exercise with every memory that you have once you become aware of them. So yeah, if you follow my Facebook, and I'm also on Instagram with the same handle, Heal Money Traumas. Heal Money Traumas. That's how I appear in Facebook and Instagram. I also have a YouTube, but it just started, so I don't have. Sure. I don't think I have anything on there yet.
Well, we have to start somewhere. So
yeah.
But we'll also link below the different locations that you've mentioned so that it's easy for people to find. And we're just so thankful that you were able to join us today and talk about some of these things that I think are relatively new. I mean, a lot of us have heard about the secret or the law of attraction, but I think some of the things that you've brought up are definitely very deep and I think will be really beneficial to a lot of people. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for allowing me this opportunity. I'm really, really grateful. Thank you. I appreciate you.
Awesome. All right. Again, like and subscribe, and hopefully we'll be able to hear from Dr. Carmen in the future. Thanks again, guys.
Thank you.